Hello guys, I decided to make a tier list from all the items inside of Risk of Rain 2. Getting right into it, I don't really think there's a reason to not just start. I'm going to do one by one item, explaining what they do, and then my decision why I put them there. Starting with the attack syringe. It does increased attack speed for 15%, added by 15% each stack. So this is like a good item for pretty much every character. The only exception for that is on the one hand it's the mercenary, but on the other hand it's not, because it gets rid on the mercenary of your invincibility period from your R skill, but it also increases the amount of hits you can get out with the R skill as well. For the artificer, it just only reduced the attack animations, so that's not that good on the artificer. Overall, I will say that the attack syringe is at least an A tier. Going on to the next one, being the Tougher Times Teddybear. It does 15% and 15% per stack. It is a little bit different calculated than the attack syringe. Has that chance for blocking all incoming damage. That includes all damage, that includes Shrines of the Blood. It is overall just blocking out straight damage. It is an S tier. You can't complain about that. Then going on to the Monstrous Tooth. It is only really worth picking up in the early game, but even then I would prefer any other item before that one, because it only does 4 health plus 4 per stack for each of the bubbles you can get out of this. So this is like the worst thing you can get. It's pretty much food for the 3D printer. Next up there's going to be the Lens Maker's Glasses. Critical strike chance, 10%, plus 10 each stack. It's an S tier. It's just an S tier. It is really good. It increases your overall damage by 10% each time you pick it up, but it's capped out at 10 of the Lens Maker's Glasses. So if you find a printer, it does also apply to all the on-hit effect, like sticky bombs, or if you got the Wake of Vultures, the electric orbs that you can shoot when you have an overloading thing, and it does include all the critical chance for the fireworks as well. So it is overall just really good. Next up there is the Pulse Go-Tooth. It is really good, but you really don't need more than, I would say, 5 or 6 depending on your character that you're playing. So I would definitely give this, because if you are playing a slow character, I would definitely give this a B tier. I would pick this up before I get healing, because if you can avoid damage in total, that is way better than having to heal each time you get hit. The Bustling Fungus. This one is a difficult one. It is an S tier for the engineer, but for everyone else it is like a D tier. Nobody's going to stand still, as well as nobody is going to utilize this at all, pretty much, because if you get hit and move a little bit because of that, you can't heal. Even though you're standing there for 2 seconds or something, if you get hit, that one's gone. I already have died of that because I wanted to heal with the Bustling Fungus, and I was just shooting with the Artificer, and it completely declined all the 2-second cooldowns of that. So I couldn't even shoot with the Artificer to get this one to heal me. So you can't even heal while standing still if you're attacking too. So you don't need to attack and you need to stand still. It's quite bad. It's quite bad. Going on to the Crowbar. The Crowbar does 150% damage to enemies above 90% health. It does add to 30% more each stack, and this also adds to any on-hit proc attack items as well. But if you have like a blood dagger or something which reduces the enemy's HP to about less than 90%, it doesn't matter how much, this one is not going to have an effect at all. So no effect at all after 90% health. So I would give this a C tier because it's not useless. It is going to help you out quite a lot, especially when you have a burst here, or burst build, that is. But it's not going to help you after you have like 90% the health of the enemy down. Or the other way around, like 10% down, and then you have only 90% left. It's not going to help you at all. Going on to the tri-tip dagger, is going to do 15% plus 15% chance to bleed an enemy. You can actually stack the bleeding on the enemy as well, but there's a cap on this for 7 daggers in total. But I really think this one is at least as good as the crowbar. I would also say a little bit better, because it is going to have an effect after the 90% health still. So I would give this a B tier here. War Banner. The War Banner is going to increase the speed of you, and it's going to increase the attack speed of you. But you really don't need more than one of the War Banners in total, because it only increases the radius after you picked up one of those. So if you really want to, you can pick up 2 or 3, but if you really want to get ridiculous, you can pick up 10 and you can cover the whole map, but it is really not necessary to have more than one of those. So I would give this, I would say, a D tier. Going on to the Cautious Slug. The Cautious Slug here is going to increase the passive health regeneration by 250%, plus 150% per stack. So this is going to be really awesome for any character that is going to be able to move really quickly. Like, I would say the Huntress or the Mercenary. When you're moving out of combat, you're healing way quicker than before. And this is going to be better than the bustling fungus or the War Banner for you. So I would give this a C tier. I'm going on to the shield. The shield is going to be a really quick one, because the shield is only going to do 25 shield plus 25 each stack. So it is going to have an impact on you in the early game, but in the late game it is only going to be worth it because it can go further than the maximum HP if you have one of the sharp glass, I think that shaped glass, that is, which is going to reduce the health by half. So this is going to go over the half of the health, and you can compensate with that. But any other way, this one is pretty much useless. It is going to increase your health by 25, but that's pretty much it. I would give this an E tier. I would probably feed it into the 3D printer for all I care. Going on to the medkit, it's going to do 10 plus 10 health each stack and 1.1 seconds after you got hit. So if you are getting hit in the early game, this is going to do quite a lot for you, especially when you only have about 100 health. This is going to do 10% of your health for healing here after you get hit. And this is in the early game, it is quite good. But in the late game, you're probably going to have so much movement speed that you avoid the damage altogether. Or you're going to have at least any other kind of heal here. Like the Cautious Slug, for example, or maybe if you're playing the Engineer, you probably have the Bustling Fungus as well. This is not worth it in my opinion. So I would give this an E tier as well. Going on to the Gasoline here. The Gasoline is going to ignite all the enemies around a dead enemy that you just killed. 12 meters plus 4, so each stack is going to increase the radius by 4, and the enemies burn for 150% plus 75% each stack. It's going to be worth it if you have enough of those, but it's not going to be really worth if you only have one of those. It's pretty much just ticking down, and especially if you have this in combination with the crowbar, it's going to be worse, because this one is going to tick down the enemies to less than 90% health, and then the crowbar doesn't affect it at all. I would still give this a C tier, because it is going to increase your overall damage every single time you kill an enemy. This is quite worth if you don't have the crowbar. I would choose one or the other here. Stun grenade. Quite bad. It has a 5% plus 5% chance to stun an enemy for 2 seconds. But that's it. I would give this an F tier. I wouldn't bother picking this up. It is only going to stun the small enemies and none of the bigger ones like bosses. Then going on to the firework. It is going to launch 8 plus 4 fireworks every time you open a chest, or like an item cache, or a cache, or anything really, like a shrine, something like that. The chest is going to spawn about 8 or more fireworks there, and is going to do 300% base damage. The 300% base damage is going to be stuck with the 300%. So this is okay for dealing damage, because it is going to do 8 times 300% if it doesn't get exploded by any rock that is nearby, which this thing can hit. Those are homing though, so if you have activated one and it is going to spawn fireworks, they're going to home to the enemy and kill them. Especially when you don't have far reach and there are a lot of wisps around, this one is quite good. So I would give this a C tier as well. Like I said with the goat hoof, I would give this a B tier, because it is going to increase the overall chances of you not getting hit in the first place. It is going to increase your movement speed by 30% plus 20% each stack. So this one is doubled. This one is only 14%, but this is overall speed. So, but you're probably going to be sprinting all the time anyway, so it doesn't matter. So this is going to increase your sprint movement speed by 30% plus 20% each stack as well. Going on to the rusted key. I would give this an E tier, to be honest. E tier or F tier. I've never seen a good item, like, okay, a legendary item, dropping out of one of the lockboxes when I have more than 5 of those keys. It says that it does increase the chances of getting a higher quality item out of the lockbox, but you need to find the lockbox, and it's most likely not going to be able to be really easy to spot. So this is going to be really hard to spot here. I wouldn't recommend picking this up. This was quite the meme when I unlocked it. I was getting this like crazy and I didn't even know what it does. But the highest stuff that I got off the rusted lockbox was green items, and most of the time it wasn't even worth searching for, so I would give this an F tier. Going on to the extra magazines. If you didn't know already, you probably know, but I'll tell you anyway. This is going to increase the secondary skill that you have. On the engineer, this one is quite shit. It is an F tier for sure. You can just feed it into the 3D printer. You really don't need this. Because you already have 10 mines, it is going to do only 10% of the effectiveness it's going to have on any other character. Any other character has already only one of the charges for their secondary skill, so this is going to be increasing 100% of their maximum output of damage, so it's going to be an S tier for sure. Okay, next up is the sticky bomb. The sticky bombs are going to do 5% plus 2.5% per stack chance on hit to attach a bomb to an enemy and donating for 250% plus 125% each stack. So this is going to be ridiculous. If you have a lot of those, you can just spam any shots really and trigger the effect of the bombs every single time. This is also the only item in the game which does increase the chances and the damage output. So this is going to be an S tier for sure. Unlike the blood dagger, this one does damage as well. So this is going to have the chances increase a lot further, but it's not going to increase the blood damage that it outputs. Next up is the armor piercing rounds. This is going to do a lot for you if you only have 0 of them, because it does additional damage to any boss, 20% that is, plus 10 each stack. So if you have at least one of them, it's going to do 20% more damage overall. But after you have like 3 or 4 of those, you don't really need more. If you have 4, you already do 50% more. But in the late game, if you have really a lot of the good items, you don't need more than 4 or 5 of these anyway, because everything is going to die eventually. You usually don't need to hit anything anymore in the end. So this is going to be an A tier for sure, but it's not going to be an S tier because it's not good enough for that. Well, this is going to be it for the white items. I'm going to link a green item guide for you as well after I have done that and uploaded that as well. So this is going to be it for now. I hope you enjoyed it, kind of, I don't know. And any support is really appreciated here. So you can like or anything, a view is all that matters to me. I'm still aiming for 30 subscribers right now. Would love to see that sometime. I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye.